Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Revelation Revealed Ministry, a ministry designed to explain truth in its fullest. And this is your host, Pastor Winston Hurlock, and my wife beside me, Norma Hurlock, and she is the backbone in this ministry. I would like to really thank her today. If it were not for her, this would not be going on. So I'm very grateful for her support. Now, each Friday night at 9 to 10 p.m., please tune in to Revelation Revealed, rrevealed.org, rrevealed.org. You will be spiritually blessed. Please invite a friend and help me to build, or help us to build this platform. And I want to thank you for the many encouraging words, comments, and letters that you have been writing and phoning and letting me know how appreciative you are for this ministry. I can assure you, as we build together, many will come to know Christ. Please don't forget to invite a friend. If you are here tonight, or if you joined tonight and you did not have a friend beside you, make it be the last night. And if you miss the program on Friday nights, you can always go back and YouTube in the week, and you can watch all my programs. Make sure also that you visit my website. On my website, all my recordings are there. Please purchase one. My book is there. Purchase one. You can read about my travels, my work in Africa. Not only my work, my wife and I, or the ministry, what we're doing in the other parts of the world. And when you go on, please subscribe. I've seen hundreds of people visiting my YouTube channel, but you're not subscribing. I think there's a big misunderstanding, and I need to clear it up tonight. When you subscribe, you're not committed to financial donation. No one is asking you. You just give credit to the ministry and rating. That's all. And your approval and your encouragement to us in ministry. So that's all. If you'd like to donate, however, you can go on my website and you can see how you can do that. But to subscribe, no. You would just give us your word of encouragement. Thank you again, and God bless you. And tonight is a wonderful night because we have on our program tonight a professional opera singer, a Canadian living in Austria, and Rowe. I am so excited. It's just a wonderful thing. I'm so what? Give me a word. Excited. I'm so excited. I'm so blessed to have run into her. A couple of weeks ago, we were doing a program, and when I looked at this, when I listened, my head was down, and they announced the person, but it never rang a bell. And when I heard the voice, I said, what voice, what powerful voice. And she's not in town for performance. She just visited. I caught her and dragged her out of her house. So you can't go back to Austria and not at least sing a song for us. We would like to know much more about you. And this evening, it gives me pleasure to welcome Anne Rowe. And I just wish we had an audience here to give you a big hand. First of all, we'd like to welcome you back to Canada.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, we actually I think I'm much older than you are, but we can say we grew up together.
Yes, we did.
And I didn't know where you were, to be honest to you. Your father told me that you're in Austria many, many, many years ago. And, but that just went on the wayside. And here you are. I just caught you unaware. I know you're in Canada. This is not the best time for you. Your mother is not as well. And you kind of concerned about your dad, too. I know both of them ever since I'm in this country.
Yes.
They have been very encouraging to me. And they have encouraged me through school. And as I struggle along, they lift me up. And so I'm so close. So let's say family. Family. All right? So really, it's nice to really, really have you today. All right. Before we go any further, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I mean, I am, of course, a Canadian. I was born in London, England, and raised in Toronto, Canada. I went to music school at McGill University, and then I was lucky enough to meet up with a very famous opera singer there. Her name is Grace Bumbry. She's an American superstar, and I wanted to study with her, so I got the Canada Council to go and study in Austria with her, and I've studied with her for at least 12 years, and I've just stayed there because anyhow, in terms of classical, there's a lot more classical going on, and there's a lot more, there is a theater or a hall or something in every little tiny town in Europe, so that's the reason I ended up staying there. So yeah.
Epicenter for music, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
What the life is like in Austria as compared to Canada, what would you say?
Well, I mean, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. There is a real push for the people there where they really try to appreciate family life, they appreciate their free time, they recognize that they must work, we all have to work, but it is a very different approach. They really don't only go and concentrate on getting the money. They do try to concentrate on having family and having time, free time, so that it's a better balance. A real balance that they're trying to achieve.
All right. Now, we wish we could know much more about you, but we're going to put it for next time.
Okay.
I hope
no problem.
that next time that you're planning to come back. By the way, when are you coming back? We're not going to give you away like that. No.
I don't know yet at the moment, but I mean, I'm always here because my family is here. I've got so many friends. I mean, I am a Toronto East baby. I am a Kanisa baby. So I've been to those churches for years and years and years. So I can't go very far.
Yes. You know what inspired me just when I met you most recently is the control that you have, the diction, the way you sing through those phrases. Now, as you know, I think I have some. Did you say I have some influence in you?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
I wish I could see my audience out there giving me a hand. Oh, this is a big thing, and I have stars in my crown now.
No, this is a honest to goodness truth. When I was younger and growing up, if you remember, I don't know if you remember how church was when we were, 20, 25 years ago. Church was a little bit different. We didn't really allow many things into church. So the people that we were allowed to listen to, especially as Seventh-day Adventists, was Winston Hurlock and Wintley Phipps. And some of those other stars that have been able to be in church now, we weren't listening to them as kids. So I grew up listening to your music.
Thank you.
I was very happy with that. Glad to see you again. Very happy to see you.
I am so fortunate that as I travel the world, most of the world, to be honest, the Western world, of course, that I have met somebody that says good things. When you get something, a small thing that's good, that somebody says about you these days, take it and run.
Yes.
Because most times people say the opposite. But I'm fortunate, to be honest to you, to see young men like yourself. When you told me that the other day, I went home and I couldn't sleep a good part of the night. I said, no, I must be careful as I go through life how I treat young people
Absolutely.
and the influence I shed on them. And that's important for all of us.
Right.
Lift up somebody. If you can't say anything good, say
Don't
nothing.
say anything at all.
Done. Anyway, all right, we will talk again. But I have some questions that I would like to ask you to check you out. And you can take the fifth.
Oh, thank goodness.
If I ask you anything that you don't want to.
Praise the Lord.
Because I know you're not prepared for this. And so I wrote them out, and I want to ask you them. First one.
Yes.
Recently, there was a video showing that Christianity is dying in Europe. What's your view on that?
Well, I was thinking about this when you asked, and one of the things I've seen in Europe is that there is a lot of emphasis on changing old, traditional, sort of maybe worn out practice. They're trying to get away from the sort of the old stuffy way of things and trying to freshen things up. That being said, I also have been here and I've been watching a lot of what ADRA is up to. And I mean, I'm amazed because I really haven't seen all of those things. They're in every single country in the world. So even though we want to say maybe Europe isn't doing as much or we don't see it, believe you me, the Christianity is alive and well and spreading. God said in the last days that it will spread, his word will spread around the world. So even though you and I may not see every minute of its spread, it is happening every day. And I think once we've gotten away from certain old-fashioned certain things, then I think we can really touch the people, because the people they're looking and searching for something.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that, because I don't know if you saw the video, a few videos, especially in England. And I went to England, done a few recitals there. And yes, I've seen a lot of churches closing. But what you're saying, Christianity is still alive.
Yes.
Even though, but in a different way.
Different way.
21st century type of thing.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, so it's not dying then.
No, it's not dying.
All right. What are some of the changes you have seen in worship today as it relates to music in the church?
Well, again, I've got to throw back to many years ago when I was a teenager growing up in, say, Toronto East. And remember, I said to you this morning, we did not have any other instruments besides the organ and the piano. We were not allowed at that time to use any other instruments for whatever reasons. At that time, I didn't understand it and I didn't realize it, but we slowly but surely, through some of the youth groups that I was in charge of and some of the other things that were happening at the time, we slowly brought in other instruments into the church. Now, I think this is a fantastic thing. I think it gives us a lot more variety, and it gives us a lot more choice, and gives us a lot more worship possibilities. There is still the thing of where we must still be very aware, remembering that Satan was, at the time when he was in heaven, he was a good musician. And he was able to play and do everything. And so there is that balance that we always have to keep, no matter what the music is, that we always recognize what we're saying, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Have we blessed it? Have we asked for God's guidance? Have we, kept God in the mix, so that when we present what we're presenting out there, that we recognize why we've brought this music here. Why is it here? What does it do? Is it a blessing that we are trying to give? Is it something? And I think that that's really important. A lot of people, if you just put on any kind of music, some people will absolutely not accept it, and I understand that. But I think once you've thought about it and you've prayed about it and you've asked God's guidance, not everything goes for every place every time. And I think once you have that awareness as a musician, as a performer, you will always do what is to God's glory.
In other words, it should be Christ-centered.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, here in Toronto, like people right now watching around the world, but let me speak of Toronto and also the Western world. Here in Toronto, if you can recall, the organ was the premier or the instrument, and then the acoustic piano was those were, anything apart from those two instruments, you're in hell. I remember quite well that in Toronto, my group, we had a group called the Ambassadors Quartet.
I remember them.
We were the first to bring in a guitar.
Yeah.
And we went to Harvard, Toronto West. With
Yes.
it. And then they chase us with it.
Yes.
And we pack up and we run.
Right.
And so Perth said, yeah, we would accommodate you. And they took us and they put us in the attic with it. Personally, I was going to school in doing opera and all those things too. And then I wasn't so in favor of guitar and because really, if you're a classical musician, those are especially in the church.
Yes.
You got to sing Bach, Handel, and all of those stuff. And they chased us from Perth too.
Yeah.
We end up in a basement. Now today, when I went to England, I was surprised to see the large organ. They're closed, and it's just a synthesizer, a guitar, and a drum. And so there are changes, and we're able to talk about that in the future.
Yep.
And as you know, I wrote a book on music and worship, contemporary issues.
Yes.
So I address all of those issues.
Fantastic.
All right. My next question is, I realize the years of study in language. How many languages do you sing in?
I sing in English, French, Italian, German. I have sung in Russian. I've sung in Czech. I have sung in Spanish. I've even sung in Japanese. Speaking.
Wow. Wow.
As an
so
opera,
you learned the diction.
Yeah,
Right.
no, but I actually speak these languages. You have to be able to speak at least 4 when you take the degree. So, I'm not great in all of the languages, but I can speak them to a certain degree. So that's
Wow.
English, French, Italian, and German. And then the other languages is a diction
Right,
approach.
Right. So I did the diction approach
Yeah.
to German, French, and Italian.
Right.
My best is Italian and German.
Right.
I really do love those. French, I can't handle the French too well. And Spanish is very nice too.
It's beautiful.
And Latin,
Yep.
most definitely. But you speak. How many languages do you speak?
Yeah, that's at least 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm brilliant at it, but I fool around. I'm very fluent right now in German because Ostia speaks German.
German, yes.
And I have Italian and French. I spoke French while I was here, and English, of course. And then the rest, you sort of just use them when you need it.
All right, no, so I realized that the years of studying language, history, theory, and financial sacrifices you have made, it appears that opera is dying. Looking back, any regrets that you took up that profession?
No, not one regret. Not in that respect. I am very happy that I've done that because I have been able to master many, many things that I don't think I would have taken or studied at all if I had not done that. And I think for myself, it has given me a very rich life and given me a lot of opportunities to master many different crafts that I probably would not have done. Now, if your idea of a success is, making millions of dollars and living at the top of the Wiz Khalifa, then okay, I'm not successful. But if your success or your measure of success is that you are enriched as a person, that you have the ability to share your crafts with others, that when you perform, you give someone joy, and that there is that connection to your audience and to a higher power, then I am rich beyond belief. And that's my measure of success. I don't think that if I had stayed and not continued in that area, that I would have had that kind of blessing. It might have been different, but I don't regret the things that I've done when it comes to opera and classical music.
In Austria, do we find praise music as popular as here in Canada, United States?
Yes, I feel that we find it just as popular. I think, like I said earlier, that things are changing. So the things that we used to do in the hymnal and those kind of things, those are classics. You will never get away from the hymnal classics, okay? But I think that now, like I said, because people are looking for something new, something different, praise and worship and these things that are happening nowadays are interesting and bringing in a new type of crowd.
Mhm. Would you like to ask her a question?
Yes, I see you're very blessed indeed. What are some of the major differences between an opera singer and a professional gospel singer?
Yeah.
I know the language is that you mentioned, it forces you to learn certain language, and that's beautiful. But what other major differences would you say?
One of the things that when I was thinking about this, actually, I was thinking, we perform as a musician. There are certain things that, whether you're an opera singer or a gospel singer, or rock and roll singer, whatever, there are certain things as a professional that you must always do. That is practice, that is study, that is research, that is constantly refreshing yourself as a general musician. Now, there's one of the main differences between an opera singer and a gospel singer is their technique. And the technique, for example, that an opera singer has is that they would like, or they try and train to not have a break in their voice. So it's that the voice goes up smoothly,
Phrases, yeah.
The phrasing is very smooth from low to high, and there shouldn't be a very obvious break between those different areas of the voice. Now, that doesn't mean that there's a break in a gospel singer's voice, but they train slightly different. That for one, their jaw is usually in a different place. Their mouth corners are wider, tongue is flatter, their chin, it juts further forward, their heads are usually up, which gives us a completely different sound. Those are all the things that we change when we're singing opera and classical music. Chin is down, head level, no jutting jaw, mouth not wide, more round, and these are the obvious, sort of more obvious changes. It is a science between the two, and these are just the small differences between the two, but yeah, those are some of the differences between the two.
And you,
Sorry.
go ahead. And you see that happen when I sit in an audience and I hear a gospel singer begins or starts a piece. I know he's not going to end,
Right.
based on those technical,
Right.
Because the thing is a way back,
Right.
the neck is a way back,
Yep.
you know, and it's sometimes more guttural, sometimes using the chest,
Yeah.
you know, not breathing. I said no, because I know the song, the end, no way.
Yeah.
You got to try to find a little falsetto
Yes.
somewhere, but you're never able. And so those are some of the technique that we use to survive. And the thing is, with an opera singer, you can survive until you die with a certain standard and a level of sound that can come out.
Yes.
Than I would say a gospel singer.
Oh, I think it all depends. I think
Yes, I think it depends.
If there are some,
because, yes,
there are some that have
Yeah,
that do train. They
Most
train
definitely,
classically,
yes.
and so that helps them with the breathing and these different things. But again, it's a total science between gospel singers and classical singers.
Why don't you give us a little touch?
Oh yeah.
Can
Of
you sing something for us?
Yes.
Just could you?
I could.
All right. Yay.
All right. All right.
I know I caught you off guard. You did not come to Canada to do any performance. But
No.
you know, before you sing,
Yes.
one of the things that I wanted to mention, and is your humility. I gravitate to people who are humble, and I sense that spirit, connection between us. So I'm grateful for that.
No
But
problem.
just tell us. Let's just hear how you sound.
One of the things that we do often, or we don't do so much anymore, is the Negro spiritual. And so I brought a few of those today, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one. Stand still, Jordan, stand still, Jordan, stand still, Jordan, Lord, I can't stand still. When I get up in the glory, when I get up in glory, when I get up in glory, Lord, I can't stand still. Stand still, Jordan. Stand still, Jordan. Stand still, Jordan. Lord, I can't stand still. I can't stand still. Lord, I can't stand still.
Amazing.
Wow,
Amazing.
beautiful, beautiful.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That flow, legato, adagio, and really maintain that, cutting through those phrases, having your breathing under control. Amazing. Amazing.
Thank
It
you.
Just, I find that Pavarotti and Domingo, they don't handle even the hymns too well. They don't handle gospel music too well. Why you think that? I know I throw in this in. Why you think that? I think it's because they are so classically trained. If you ask them to sing a gospel, it would sound more like classical.
Right.
I think it's a training, I think. I always think of
Yeah,
that.
I think.
But Sheila,
I think you're correct in one way, but the other thing about it that I found for myself personally is that even though I'm classically trained and the work that I do is opera and classical music, when I get back to singing a Negro spiritual, or I'm going to sing a gospel song, or whatever the case may be, one of the things that I find that makes it easier is the fact that I love it. And that I have had the experience of it. I have that connection from God, and that I believe in the text. For one thing that you've learned, that we learn as opera and classical singers, is that in order for the audience to believe that you lost your mother, or the person, the character that you're playing, you must believe that they have experienced this thing. And you must believe that that thing could possibly happen, and not just on the stage, but for real somehow. Yeah. And I think our experience as Christians have the belief, and that belief comes through. So it makes it easier for us because we are connected to God. Yeah. The text is about God. It is about a dream, a wish, a hope, a promise that God has given us, and therefore that comes through in the music, which I believe honestly makes it easier.
I think that's right. I think you're correct. My teacher is from Brussels, and she said, you got to paint the picture.
Yep.
Therefore, you're going to paint that picture, you got to throw that voice at the back. And I want to ask you something too, but she said, you got to paint that picture. You got to be convincing and paint the picture that somebody may really see what you're saying.
Yes.
That conviction, and of course you're growing up, you're in embryonic stages of your life. You grew up in the Christian path, and your conviction, and that must come out. Give us one little idea. How do you get to throw your voice from here to over there?
Well, let's see. That is truly technique. One of
Yeah.
the things is breathing.
Yes.
If you don't have breathing, you pretty much don't have anything. And you have, your body is your instrument. A lot of people, when they think of singing, they think, oh, you have a nice voice, and they think of those, 2-centimeter sized vocal cords in your body, and then they believe that all you do is sort of yell it across the room. But in truth, it is nothing like that. It has to do with breath control, it has to do with body control, it has to do with the concentration of the mind. Talent is absolutely 10%, and the rest of it is mental control, physical practice, etc., to gain the ability. What I could do at 18, I can do more at 25. You know what I mean? Because I have trained, I have studied, I have then used those techniques that I've learned in order to so-called throw my voice. But it's not throwing your voice, it's actually just singing and performing with the vocal techniques that the voice and the notes, every single tone has as a vibration. And the vibration is carried on the air. And you just basically learn how to carry it on the air and how to get it out there.
All right. We're going to break right now, and we will be favored with a rendition from Anne. Thank you.
Thank you. In the morning when I rise,
Okay, we're back. We will not keep you longer, but we want to just hear a little bit more from her. I have a few more questions to ask, okay?
Okay.
And I said you can take the fifth if you'd like to. By the way, we are really grateful for your answers.
No problem.
All right, another one. Music is a universal language, as they would say, but opera appears to be dominated by the Caucasian community, just like rap and jazz among the black community. As a black opera singer, how do you cut through the maze to be so successful as you are in your career?
Wow, big question. What I've used for myself is, one, having tenacity, completely just push your way through. Being the best at your craft that you can be, which means practice and continuous practice. Using the connections that you've made in your life. You find out after a while that it's not just you, it's basically a whole army, and it's many people that help you to get from point A to point B. So being able to make connections, but make good connections. And I use the word use, but I don't mean it in the bad sense of the word. I mean making connections that will then bring you forward in life. And having an idea of where you want to go. How do you want to get there? What kind of a person do you want to be to get there?
Do you face any racial discrimination?
Every now and then you do come across that racial thing, and right now that racial card is out there all over the world. You're fighting it on every end. But I think, in all honesty, one, I walk with God every step of the way, so I don't think about it that much. Two, I believe very much in do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So I think if I am a decent person to you, in general, you get the same thing back. There's going to be the odd guy out there who's not going to care and has more evil on his mind than you might, but I try to stay away from those types of people, and I try to stay on a path that God has created for me. And once you do that, I think you are able to get as far as you're supposed to get. The path is laid for you.
All right. We have just about 2 more questions, and we would like to hear you sing again, please, even though you were not prepared to, but we're just pulling this thing out of you. I would like for you to answer this question, and it's very important because most of my audience out there, this is an issue within the worshiping community, not only in Seventh-day Adventists, but most religion. I put it this way. In the 17th to the 18th century, opera, oratory, cantata, hymns, and classical music ruled supreme in the Western world. And I put in the Western world because I have to say that when we talk about music, really, we're talking about Western civilization.
Right.
Here, yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So both the opera house and church were flourishing in those days. Today, the churches are not flourishing as I know it, and gravitating to this type of music,
Right.
And communities are fanning the dying flames of European music to keep it alive. That's how we see it here in the Western world. I could be wrong. I pose it like this. Do you think church music will revert back to its past, like in the days of Bach and Handel and those great writers with hymns and cantatas and all of that? Are we just passing those? Those are dying and we'll be going into a new era. What do you think? Just your idea.
I think music...
Sorry, before you even say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, why I say that is because within the church community, take for instance, within the Adventist community, some of the Baptists, some of them, the Presbyterian, and so on and so on. There's an unrest within the congregation. So because of the new norm that is coming in. So people politely accept, but they are really not there.
Right.
and they are looking forward to the past where still the hymns are still strong.
Right.
Whenever you want to make an appeal song today, you'll go to Just As. It's the old hymn.
Right.
Pass me not. Old hymns.
Yeah.
And you'll see young and old coming down crying.
Yes.
Okay? But the older folks, the builders, of course, they would have liked to see that type of music ruling supreme again. What do you think?
I think that music as a whole continues to evolve every single year and every single century. And you will never get rid of the Pass Me Nots and, the old church and the old rugged cross. You are not going to get rid of those because they are classics. And they have a love that has been won because of their either their simplicity or their words or their text. Those classics will never go away, and the oldies will never be gone. Now, saying that, as we continue to evolve, there are things that are new songs, brand new things that Kurt Franklin has done, and countless numbers of others that are bringing up, that are also have created a place in our hearts for them. I think that it's not that you're going to get rid of one or the other. I think it's going to continue to evolve, and I think you will always have a place for both. And again, it always comes down to what do you need for what purpose. Sometimes you need an old rugged cross, and sometimes you need a Kurt Franklin jumping in there and making noise. You know what I mean? Good noise. And I think that music's evolution is very important in the Christian church, but I think we as a congregation must go with the evolution in the sense of learning, understanding what comes from where, and like we said before, be Christ-centered. So if we go with the evolution with a Christ-centered basis, then we can always use what's at our disposal, use the things for the things that we need.
I think you hit it on the head. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think they will run concurrently alongside each other.
Yeah.
You're not going to get rid of the hymns, and you're not going to get rid of... Why? Because music is consistent with this generation. And you have all these generations together and their likeness. And so came out in my book. You hit it. I give you an A for that.
Thank
I
you.
was listening out
Thank
for
you.
your answer. I gave you an A. I gave you an A.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I think we need to take a break. And I would like to hear you sing one more song.
Super. Thank you.
Hallowed be
into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the
Thank you. All right, we have one more question.
Okay, make it a good one.
Yes, one more question. But, and this one, if a young Christian from any church, from the church community, wishes to take up opera as a career, what instruction or instructions would you recommend or give to that person?
Okay. There are a million things I would tell them to do, but there are some most important ones I would say. One, do your research. If you're interested in classical music and you're interested in opera, do your research. Learn about the career, learn about the music, learn about what is involved in that career. I mean, if you're going to be a police officer, you've got to go out there and learn what he does. And you can't just say, oh, I'd love to be a police officer and not have a clue that you're going to have to dodge bullets, right? So learn, do your research about the career. Next, I would say get a teacher who truly cares about their students and truly cares about the art form. You can meet a lot of charlatans out there who will blow your voice, ruin your life, because we are so connected to our instrument that if you don't have a teacher who cares about you, you can be destroyed quite easily, and it will not be easy to come back from. So get a teacher who cares about you and your instrument. I'd say get a lot of experience without blowing out your voice. You need to do a lot of things. You need to see a lot of things and be a lot of places, but don't sing everything and don't do everything. Know what is going to be right for your voice and your body. The next one is practice, practice, practice. If you don't practice in the classical and opera world, you are not going to keep up with the rest, because it's a bit of more of a real perfectionist kind of career. So if you're good, that's great, but there is always going to be someone who's better, especially if you have not practiced. So practice, practice, practice. The next one is trust God and have Him with you at all times. If you don't have that, you don't have anything, because the world out there is not nice and they don't care about you. So if you don't have Him there carrying you when you need to be carried, walking hand in hand with you when you need to walk hand in hand with Him, then you are out there in the cold, standing against the wolves.
Thank you.
And I think also with all that you mentioned, having a passion just like you do is very important.
Yes, yes.
You have the passion, then all these things, like you mentioned, will come into place.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was at the conservatory, I remember once the teacher stopped us and said, "Put away the books." And so we put away the books. We wondered what he's coming with.
Right.
He said, "I want to let you know that if you're planning to be a professional musician, take 2 majors. And make sure you go to Europe or the United States and do well. And if you become famous, then we claim you here."
Right.
I never forgot that. I felt, he said, "I'm not discouraging you, But you know you can't stay in Toronto. Is this why you went to
Yes,
Austria?
that is exactly the reason. When I was looking to get involved in the career more, what was happening at that time was they were bringing in people from the States, bringing in people from Europe, and we as Canadians were having a difficult time finding a place to work and hone our craft within our own country. So I said, okay, well then I need to go somewhere where maybe in chance, just by opportunity, go to Europe where there are more houses and more churches and more symphonies and stuff that you can get involved in. And that was what happened to me.
And it was just a joy to have you.
Thank
I
you
wish
so
we
much.
could talk all day about music. And it was an honor that you have given me to interview you.
Thank you
and
so
on my
much.
program. I hope that my friends now in Austria
Yes.
will able to watch you.
Right.
And also make sure that you press subscribe
Right.
and build this ministry. Now, I think that we should do something very crazy. I think we should do something.
Really crazy?
I think my audience out there would, I know I hope they will be doing something. I know they are saying that. But remember now, she just came in town and she's going back next week. And by the way, I wish you Godspeed
Thank you.
as you go back
Thank you.
to Austria. And I wish you all the best with your students and all your performances.
Thank you.
And we're looking forward. Now, remember, coming back, it will be a different deal.
Yes.
We send some music to me,
Okay.
and I'll send music to you, and we're going to have a professional presentation here in Toronto.
Awesome.
But could we practice something?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I learned, I know of this song. I've done it once, and I did it in English. I've never done it in Italian.
Oh, okay.
And I know you're pretty good in Italian. I think that we should practice something.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen out there, we have never practiced for this show. We know about the song, but we have never sung together. So we want to do something very crazy and funny. And we're going to try to do this song, okay? So don't judge us on this.
Right.
What would you like to tell my audience?
Yeah, I'd like to tell you that we're going to do something special. We're going to do something that is very spontaneous, and we're sure that you are absolutely going to enjoy it,
Right.
even if there's one or two bumps in the road.
Oh, hey. All right. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and God bless you. Okay, now, before you go, I would like to present to you my book, and it's the only book I've written.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. It is called Music and Worship, Contemporary Issues, and it deals with the issues that we face in the church today, with drums, guitars, classical music, as opposed to gospel music, hymns, as opposed to praise music. I dealt with also the 4 of the generations, that's now the builders, boomers, and so on and so on, and the different changes that we face today in the church. I hope that you'll enjoy it. My wife will present it to you.
So, thank you for coming. We enjoy your songs, your present. And so, on behalf of Revelation Reveal Ministry, I would like to present this book as a token of our appreciation. Thank you, and God bless you in your ministry as you sing and bless the hearts of others.
Thank you so much. Very kind. Fantastic. Very awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
And thank you for the book, and thank you for having me on the
My
program.
pleasure. It's an honor. Thank you.
I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace to a place where we'll be safe.
La luce che tu
I
dai
pray we'll find your light
ora resterà
and hold it in our hearts.
ricordarci
When
che
stars go out each night,
l'eterna stella sei
oh,
nella mia preghiera.
let this be our prayer.
Quanta fede c'è
When shadows fill our day, lead us
to a
place, guide us
with your grace.
give us
Give us
faith
faith so
so
we'll be saved. Sogniamo un mondo senza più violenza, un mondo di giustizia e di speranza, con una Dio mano sua vicina, simbolo di pace, di fraternità. La forza che ci
Let life be kind.
desiderio che
Watch us from above.
ognuno trovi
We
amore
hope we find a find
intorno dentro sé.
another soul to love. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our prayer.
Just like every child,
Just like every child,
needs to find a place.
guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe.
Nella fede che hai in noi, sento che ci We got there. We got to the end. Well, we just had fun. We had some little glitches, but we'll fix that when you come next time.
Right.
All right, we're going to practice. We're going to practice. We're going to have an extremely good concert. This is a practice run for a concert in the future. Thank you ever so much. All right, thank you. Tonight was a very special night, and I hope we will have many more nights like this. I have some fantastic musicians that we've performed together over the years. I myself will be giving some my own interview. I hope you'll come back and interview me.
Sure, that would be amazing.
And also some lectures on music and worship, contemporary issues, and issues that relate to our community. We'll have a variety of things. We'll have some great preachers on our program. May God bless you and have a wonderful evening. Thank you.